What's his name? Which name?
Delesh Martinez.
Sir at the jail, what's your full name? Oh, wait, I'll get it.
Sir at the jail, what is your full name?
Delesh Martinez.
All right, give me one moment. All right,
sir, you are here because you've been charged with burglary in the third degree. I will enter a not guilty plea for you. You do have the right to remain silent and the right to an attorney. I am going to appoint Gary Grinkowicz to represent you. Pretrial services is recommending that I hold you on a bond. The state is asking that I hold you without bond. Give me one moment.
All right,
so sir, the Arizona Constitution, hold on. The date of the offense on this is November 6th of 2023.
I think he was released March 2024.
Right.
So who's here for the state?
Your Honor, Matthew Keeler for the state. Mr. Martinez was on release in CR 2021-1858. He had failed to appear, I believe, earlier in 2023.
I see. Okay.
I was looking at the
other case.
All right,
So sir, it looks like you had a felony case pending at the time that this is alleged to have occurred. Under the Arizona Constitution, I am required to hold you without bond, so I will do that. You will have a no bond hearing on May 20th at 2:30 in the afternoon. That court date is very likely to happen when it's scheduled. However, I'm also setting a preliminary hearing on May 28th at 1:30 in the afternoon, and sir, that court date is very likely to be rescheduled. So you need to, there's no way for you to get out between now and May 20th. After May 20th, if the Superior Court judge releases you, you need to make sure you stay in touch with your attorney and also with pretrial services if you're released to pretrial services, so you know when your hearings are. If you miss one, you will get a warrant. I am going to order that you do not have any contact with the alleged victims and do not go to the victim's residence or workplace. I will leave it to the Superior Court judge to set all other release conditions at the no bond hearing. Sir, do you have any questions about what I just did?
No.
All right.
Good luck, sir.
These minutes were just in here.
He actually has 2 minutes.
Sure, yes. For us. Let's see if they're all over there. Or maybe some.
Hi, sir. What's your full name?
Hi,
Hi,
What's your full name?
Daniel Plaza-Valencia.
All
right, sir, you are here because you have been charged with failure to comply with a court order. I will enter a not guilty plea for you. You have the right to remain silent and the right to an attorney. I'm appointing Janet Altschuler to represent you. You will get her name and phone number in your paperwork. Pretrial Services is recommending that I hold you on a bond. I'm setting bond in the amount of $500 secured. I'm ordering that you do not commit any acts of domestic violence, do not have any contact whatsoever with Yuki Zapata, and do not go to her residence or workplace. Sir, I want to be very clear with you. It does not matter whether she wants contact or not. It doesn't matter if she starts the contact. If you have any contact with her, you are committing a new offense and violating your release conditions in this case. I'm also going to order that you follow all court orders, including orders of protection and injunctions against harassment. Sir, your next court date on this is actually going to be tomorrow at noon. The judge will see you by video if you're still in custody. If you post bond and you're released, you must appear tomorrow at noon in Marana City Court. If you're not there, a warrant could issue. Do you have any questions about what I just did, sir?
No.
All right, good luck, sir.
Have a seat up there, man. Ariaga? Yeah, in that far corner again. Your Honor, Ariaga and the felonies refused.
All right.
All right, thank you.
All right.
All right, then on Mr. Ariaga, I am going to continue it to the morning since he refused.
No objection, Your Honor.
No objection, Leslie.
Same blue chair right there.
Hi, sir.
What's your full name?
Everybody around?
All
right, sir, you are here because you have new charges of criminal trespass. Oh, sorry, nope. You have a warrant for failure to appear in Tucson City Court on charges of criminal trespass, and possession of drug paraphernalia. You're also charged with failure to appear. I will enter a not guilty plea for you. You do have the right to remain silent and the right to an attorney. It looks like you are being held on a felony offense right now. I'm not seeing you on that. I'm only seeing you on the Tucson City Court case. So, sir, I am going to appoint the City Public Defender's Office to represent you. I am going to release you on your own signature on the City Court case, but you remain held on the felony case until a judge changes that. You're ordered not to go back to the incident location on this case. Your next court date is June 24th at 2:00 in the afternoon at Tucson City Court with Judge Cranshaw. If you're in custody, your attorney will handle that hearing for you. If you're out of custody, you must appear for that hearing or a warrant could issue. You could be tried and convicted in your absence, and if you couldn't be sentenced within 90 days because of your failure to appear, you could also lose your right to appeal. Sir, do you have any questions about what I just did?
No.
All right, good luck, sir.
Thank you.
Hi, sir.
What's your full name?
Carlos Arturo Noriega.
All
right, sir, you are here on two cases. In one of them, you are charged with assault, criminal damage, disorderly conduct, and preventing the use of a telephone during an emergency as domestic violence offenses. And you're also charged with disorderly conduct as a non-domestic violence offense. In the other case, sir, you're charged with assault and disorderly conduct. They're both domestic violence offenses. I will enter a not guilty plea for you. You do have the right to remain silent and the right to an attorney, although not necessarily at court expense. It's my understanding that there is a listed victim on the line. If you're there, can you please identify yourself?
Alma Leticia Noriega.
All right, ma'am.
All right, ma'am, what did you want to tell me today?
I just wanted to say, like, it'd be good, in order for all this is going on, it'd be good for him. I would like to suggest some kind of help for him. I mean, this is out of his character, and, I just really think he needs some kind of help, like, it'd be good for him to get some kind of help because it is out of his character. I mean, we've been together for 7 years and it's just gotten out of hand for these past few months. And it's just like out of his character. So I just feel like he needs some kind of, professional help.
All right.
Thank you, ma'am.
All
right, sir, I am going to set bond in the amount of $1,500 secured. I'm ordering that you do not commit any acts of domestic violence, do not possess any firearms or weapons. If you own any firearms, you must surrender them to the Tucson Police Department within 48 hours of release. While this case is pending, you are not allowed to have any contact whatsoever with Alma Noriega or the 2 minors who were present for this, and you are not to go to their residence or workplace. However, you can go back one time with the police to get your belongings. That means that you can take my order to the nearest police station and someone will go with you to get your things. Sir, I want to be very clear that Ms. Noriega did not request the no contact. I am ordering that based on the information that I have, because I believe that it's necessary to protect the community safety. It does not matter if Ms. Noriega asks you to come home. It doesn't matter if she calls you or contacts you. If you have any contact with her or you go to that residence or her workplace without court permission from a judge, you will be in violation of your release conditions, and you'll also be committing a new offense. I am going to appoint the City Public Defender's Office to represent you. And your next court date on this is May 22nd at 1:30 in the afternoon. If you're in custody, you'll be seen by video. If you're out of custody, you must appear at Tucson City Court to see Judge Millian at that time. If you're not there, a warrant could issue. You could be tried and convicted in your absence, and if you couldn't be sentenced within 90 days because of your failure to appear, you could also lose your right to appeal. Sir, do you have any questions about your release conditions?
So what about if I don't get bond, when do I get released?
You'll see the Judge Millian on May 22nd, and you have an attorney. You can talk to them and they can ask the judge to release you, but it would be Judge Millian's decision.
So it's only on a bond release, right?
Your bond is $1,500 secured. So that means you can post it with money, with property, or through a bondsman.
I'm sorry, Judge, I want to make a correction on that. On the minors, there was only 1 minor involved. I don't know why they're saying 2 minors.
Let me double check what I have here. It says
One minor was in the house. But the
2 minor age grandchildren.
Yeah, I had 4 grandchildren. Only 1 was with me at the moment.
Okay, there's 2 separate cases. Was one of them there the other time?
No, the other time there was no minors involved. This time there was only 1 minor involved, which was my grandchild that was here with me this time.
All right, so then, sir, I will change that to the 1 minor.
All
right.
Thank you both.
Thank you both.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Sir.
Let's see that. Perez?
Is there another victim on Alma?
Are there any other victims?
Yes, there's one more at the very last case.
Yes.
Sir, what's your
full name?
Armando Joe Perez.
All
right, sir, you are here because you have new charges, 2 counts of disorderly conduct as a domestic violence offense. In addition, you have a warrant out of Tucson City Court for failure to appear on 2 counts of assault as a domestic violence offense, 3 counts of disorderly conduct as a domestic violence offense, failure to appear, disorderly conduct as a domestic violence offense, and failure to appear. Sir, on all of those cases, I will enter a not guilty plea for you. You do have the right to remain silent and the right to an attorney. I'm appointing the Tucson City Public Defender's Office to represent you. Sir, I'm setting bond in the amount of $500 secured. I'm ordering that you do not commit any acts of domestic violence. Do not have any contact with the listed victims. That's Margarita Perez and Natasha Jones. And do not go back to their residence or workplace. If you have belongings there, sir, you can't go back with police to get those. That means you can take my order to the nearest police station and someone will go with you one time to get your things. Your next court date on this, if you're in custody, is May 24th at 1:45 in the afternoon, and you'll be seen by video. If, sir, you post bond or you get released before then, your next court date changes to June 24th at 9 o'clock in the morning at Tucson City Court with Judge Maldonado. Sir, you must appear for that hearing. If you're not there, a warrant could issue. You could be tried and convicted in your absence, and if you couldn't be sentenced within 90 days because of your failure to appear, you could also lose your right to appeal.
Sir, I understand that you're upset.
I'm not going to change my decision. Do you have any questions about your release conditions?
Can you lower the release like the bond to $100?
Sir,
Sir, I'm not going to change your release conditions at this time. You do have an attorney, and you can talk to them about moving the assigned judge to change it.
All right, good
All
luck,
right,
sir.
good luck, sir.
Are any of them? Oh, yeah.
Good evening, Your Honor. Interpreter. The list doesn't have any Spanish speakers on it.
Oh, sorry.
All right, let me just verify with the jail. Jail, do we have any Spanish speakers tonight?
Yeah.
We do not.
All right.
All right, the interpreter can be excused. Thank you.
Good night.
Check that. Hi, sir, what's your full name?
Andreas?
All
right, sir, you are here because you've been charged with arson of an occupied structure and criminal damage. I will enter a not guilty plea for you. You do have the right to remain silent and the right to an attorney. I'm appointing the public defender's office to represent you. Pretrial Services is recommending that I hold you on a bond. The state is asking for a $25,000 bond. Defense counsel?
What if we consider releasing Mr. Ray to pretrial services, alternatively imposing a lower bond? It does appear this is his first felony arrest of any kind. Given that, I would ask you to give him an opportunity on release.
Right.
Also willing to go to CRC if that's available in place. After you're released.
All right, so sir, I have to balance out the information that I have. And I understand that you have no prior felonies. But I do have some concerns based on other information I have. I am going to set bond in the amount of $10,000 secured. If you post that bond, sir, you are released to pretrial services. You're not to have any alcohol or illegal drugs, no acts of domestic violence, no firearms or weapons, and you must submit to any monitoring or treatment that's directed by pretrial services. I am ordering that you do not have any contact whatsoever with the alleged victim. I understand that that's your father, Juan Reyes Sr., and do not go back to his residence or workplace. If you have belongings there, you may return one time with the police to get those. You can take my order to the nearest police station and someone will go with you to get your things. Your next court date on this is a preliminary hearing on May 28th at 1:30 in the afternoon. Sir, that court date is very likely to change. If you do get out of custody, I recommend that you stay in touch with your attorney and with pretrial so you know when your court date is. If you miss it, you will get a warrant. Again, sir, I've given you an attorney, and you can talk to that person about filing a motion to modify release conditions. The Superior Court judge will have a lot more information than I have. Do you have any questions about your release conditions, sir?
Cool.
All right, good luck, sir.
On the way to the see you on Friday, but not even call this week.
All right, thank you.
Stand back out there. And, take your arm out.
Hi, sir, what's your full name?
Eric Angel.
Sir, you're here on a number of different things. I'm gonna start with the new felony charges. You are charged with burglary in the 3rd degree, shoplifting, it's organized retail theft, and then possession of drug paraphernalia. I will enter a not guilty plea for you. You do have the right to remain silent and the right to an attorney. I'm appointing the public defender's office to represent you. Pretrial services and the state are both recommending that I release you under pretrial services supervision, and I will do that. Sir, I'm going to order that you do not have any alcohol or illegal drugs, no firearms or weapons, and submit to any monitoring or treatment that's directed by pretrial services. I'm also ordering, sir, that you do not go to any Walmart stores.
All right. Yes.
All
right, your next court date on this is going to be a preliminary hearing on June 4th. At 1:30 in the afternoon. Sir, that court date is very likely to change. I recommend that you call the public defender's office sometime in the next few days and make sure they have your contact information correct. Stay in touch with them and with pretrial so you know when your court date is. If you miss it, you will get a warrant.
All right.
All
right, in addition to that, sir, you have new charges of trespass as a misdemeanor. On that case, sir, I am going to enter a not guilty plea for you. You do have the right to remain silent and the right to an attorney, although not necessarily at court expense. On that case, I'm going to release you on your own signature. I'm ordering that you do not go to any Walmart store. And I am giving you a court date of June 14th.
All right.
And that is at 8:30 in the morning at the Pima County Justice Court with Judge Wilson. Sir, you must appear for that hearing. If you're not there, a warrant could issue.
All right.
All
right, then you also have a warrant out of South Tucson Municipal Court for failure to appear on two shoplifting charges.
All right.
Give me one moment. I'm reading the information I have. Sir, because you're being released to pretrial services, I'm going to give you one more chance to appear on these charges. I want to be very clear. If you miss your next court date, you will get a warrant. And next time, I'm guessing the judge will hold you on a bond and not release you. Do you understand that?
All right. Yes.
So on this, sir, I am going to release you on your own signature. I'm ordering that you do not go back to the incident location. So wherever it was that they are charging you with, shoplifting. I'm also ordering that you follow all release conditions previously set in these cases. So that means that if you were ordered not to go somewhere or not to contact someone, that is still in effect. Those cases, sir, your next court date is May 28th. That is at 10 o'clock in the morning at South Tucson City Court. You must appear for that hearing or a warrant could issue. Do you have any questions about your release conditions, sir?
No.
All right, good luck.
Good luck.
What's the number for Pedro and your attorney in your next court case, okay?
Good.
Hi, sir. What's your full name?
Donald Crosser.
All
right, sir, you're here on two different things. First of all, you have a warrant out of Pima County Superior Court on charges of burglary and possession of drug paraphernalia. I will enter a not guilty plea. You have the right to remain silent and the right to an attorney, although not necessarily at court expense. Actually, yes, you do on this one. I'm appointing Anna Dennis to represent you on that case. Her name and phone number will be in your paperwork. Give me one moment. It looks like you were previously released to pretrial services on this case, and you did not contact them and you missed your court date. Pretrial services is recommending that I hold you on a bond. The state is asking for a $3,500 bond. Defense counsel.
What does you consider giving him one more chance with pretrial? Given the nature of these offenses, I think the two charges of 3rd-degree burglary and paraphernalia. And it does appear that his last felony arrest was in 2015. Given that, I would ask that you give him one more chance to retry.
He has
He has
eight
8
warrants
right
right now
in
in
cases,
some
some cases that are
from
from 17 and 18, but some of them are from 2023. I'm gonna set bond in this case in the amount of $1,500 secured. Sir, if you post that bond, you're released to pretrial services. You're not to have any alcohol or illegal drugs, no firearms or weapons, and submit to any monitoring or treatment that's directed by pretrial services. I am ordering that you do not have any contact with any alleged victims and do not go to their residence or workplace. Your next court date on this, sir, is a preliminary hearing on May 28th at 1:30 in the afternoon. That's wrong. Your next court date on this is an arraignment on May 22nd at 1:30 in the afternoon. That court date is not going to change. You do need to appear for that hearing. If you're not there, a warrant could issue. Sir, you also have a new charge of criminal trespass as a misdemeanor. On that case, I will enter a not guilty plea for you. You have the right to remain silent and the right to an attorney. I'm appointing the City Public Defender's Office to represent you. On this case, I'm going to release you on your own signature. I'm ordering that you do not go back to the incident location. Your next court date on this is June 14th at 2 o'clock in the afternoon at Tucson City Court with Judge Mayhew. You must appear for that hearing. If you're not there, if you're in custody, your attorney will handle it for you. But if you're out of custody, you must appear for that hearing. If you're not there, a warrant could issue. You could be tried and convicted in your absence. And if you couldn't be sentenced within 90 days because of your failure to appear, you could also lose your right to appeal. Sir, do you have any questions about your release conditions?
No.
All right. Good luck, sir.
I look around. I look over.
Hi, sir. What's your full name?
William Devon Evans.
All right. Mr. Evans, you are here because you've been charged with disorderly conduct and possession of drug paraphernalia. I will enter a not guilty plea for you. You do have the right to remain silent and the right to an attorney. I am appointing the Legal Defender's Office to represent you. Counsel, I do not see probable cause for disorderly conduct, but I am willing to hear from the state.
Your Honor, the interim complaint describes Mr. Evans holding a hatchet outside, I believe outside of business. And let me pull up the interim complaint, Your Honor, one moment.
It says he was holding a hatchet and tensing up and huffing and puffing. My problem is 132904 defines disorderly conduct as engaging in fighting, violent, or seriously disruptive behavior. There is a case, there's case law that says seriously disruptive behavior has to be something like fighting or violence. Or making unreasonable noise, or using abusive or offensive language or gestures in a manner likely to provoke an immediate physical retaliation. I understand that the person who saw him with the hatchet felt disturbed. I would feel disturbed too, frankly, but I don't know that he engaged in conduct that fits that definition.
Your Honor, I believe the subsection that would be relevant here, and I believe it is in the interim complaint is A6, recklessly handles, displays, or discharges a deadly weapon or dangerous instrument. The state would be alleging that that hatchet is a dangerous instrument, and Mr. Evans was recklessly handling or displaying that hatchet with the intent to disturb the peace of the victims.
What was reckless about holding it?
I would say it's the holding of it, the tensing up in the proximity of the victims.
I'm not going to find probable cause for disorderly conduct. You are correct, and I that was A6, and I apologize because I missed that on the original time around. However, I don't think that I have probable cause to believe that he recklessly handled that weapon. So, that being said, I'm not dismissing the charge, but when I set release conditions, I'm setting them based on the possession of drug paraphernalia charge. Pretrial services is recommending that I hold you on a bond, sir. The state is asking for a $20,000 bond. Give me 1 minute to finish reviewing everything else that I have in your case.
All
right, defense counsel.
Your Honor, we would ask that you release into pretrial, given that you didn't find probable cause for disorderly conduct. I think that, I understand that the court can not find PC, but then would have to release him on that charge. And so I think the only felony charge you would be getting release condition, or potentially a bond for would be paraphernalia, which is, given the nature of that, I would ask that you release into pretrial services.
All
right, even if I'm only considering the paraphernalia charge, I am concerned that he has an NVCA flag and that he's a 6 on both of the other risk scales. I'm also concerned about the fact that in addition to this case, I will be seeing him on warrants in 5 Tucson City Court cases. Based on all of that information, and his criminal history is concerning to me. So based on all of that, I am going to set a bond, but I'm going to set a much lower bond than the state requested, given that I'm essentially setting bond on possession of drug paraphernalia. I'll set bond in the amount of $2,500 secured. Sir, if you post that, you're released to pretrial services. You are not to have any alcohol or illegal drugs, no firearms or weapons, and submit to any monitoring or treatment that's directed by pretrial services. You are not to have any contact with the alleged victims. You cannot go to the victim's residence or workplace. I'm also ordering that you do not go return to the incident location. Your next court date on this is a preliminary hearing on May 28th at 1:30 in the afternoon. Sir, that court date is likely to change. If you are released from custody, please stay in touch with your attorney and with pretrial services so you know when your hearing is. If you miss it, you will get a warrant. In addition to that case, sir, you are here on a warrant out of Tucson City Court. You failed to appear on charges of criminal trespass, shoplifting, failure to appear, shoplifting, failure to appear, 3 counts of possession of a shopping cart, failure to appear, and another count of shoplifting and failure to appear. Let me review this file. All right. Based on my review of the file, it appears that since 2022, you have never appeared for court when out of custody, not even once. Sir, I am going to hold you on a bond of $500 in the city court case. I'm going to appoint the City Public Defender's Office to represent you. I'm ordering that you do not go back to the incident location on any of these charges. Sir, on the city court case, your next hearing is a video review on May 24th at 1:45. If you are out of custody before then, your court date changes to June 11th at 2:30 in the afternoon. That is with Judge Cranshaw at Tucson City Court. You must appear for that hearing. If you're not there, a warrant could issue. You could be tried and convicted in your absence. And if you couldn't be sentenced within 90 days because of your failure to appear, you could also lose your right to appeal.
All right,
Sir, do you have any questions about your release conditions?
Ma'am, that trespassing, shoplifting, and shopping cart thing, I've done time for it over and over and over and over and over again, and those warrants do not go away.
Well, here's the problem is what the file tells me is that you keep getting arrested on the warrants, you keep getting released, and then you don't come back to court, so new warrants issue. And that will continue for the rest of your life unless you take care of these cases and resolve them by either taking a plea agreement or going to trial.
So there's never been plea agreements or anything on these cases?
Nope.
Huh, okay.
Not according to the court file. So I did give you an attorney. Talk with your attorney about it, okay?
All right,
Good luck, sir.
Your felony attorney, they show this administratively.
Evans, Scholar. All this.
Hi, sir, what's your full name? Sir, you are here because you've been charged with possession of a narcotic drug. I will enter a not guilty plea for you. You do have the right to remain silent and the right to an attorney. I'm appointing the public defender's office to represent you. Pretrial services and the state are both recommending that you be released to pretrial services. Pretrial is recommending their enhanced supervision program, so I am going to release you under that program. I'm ordering that you do not have any alcohol or illegal drugs, no firearms or weapons, and submit to any monitoring or treatment that's directed by pretrial. Sir, I am actually going to give you 2 court dates on this, and I know that's a little confusing, so let me explain the difference, okay? So your first court date is May 22nd at 9 o'clock in the morning at Pima County Superior Court. That is a SMART court hearing. SMART court is a court that's designed to get people into treatment for substance addiction. It looks like you are probably eligible for a diversion program that's part of SMART court. It's called STEPS. If you go to that court date and you agree to do treatment and then you do the outpatient treatment that you agreed to do, the state will likely dismiss the case before formal charges are ever even filed, okay? So not only do you keep the conviction off your record, but you can keep the formal charges off your record. However, if you miss the court date on May 22nd at 9 a.m., then you will lose the opportunity to do SMART court and STEPS. Instead, they're going to indict you and treat it just like every other felony, okay? So make sure you go to that hearing. I'm also setting a preliminary hearing on June 4th at 1:30 in the afternoon, but that hearing is very likely to change. So go to court on May 22nd and then go back to court when your attorney, the judge, or pretrial tells you to go back, okay?
Okay.
Any questions about your release conditions, sir?
No.
Good luck, sir.
Thank you.
First in the morning, call your attorney Thursday or Friday, and just open it, you'll be on the jail for you as well.
All right, the next defendant should be Daniel Hernandez, and Mr. Hannes is, I believe, online for that one.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Hannes, are you filing a notice of appearance for the whole case or just for the purposes of the IA?
I'll do it for the whole case, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. All right, sir, what's your full name?
Daniel Ricardo Hernandez.
All
All right, sir, you are here because you've been charged with aggravated harassment. I will enter a not guilty plea for you. You do have the right to remain silent and the right to an attorney. It appears you've already hired an attorney, and Mr. Hannes is present by Teams, not Zoom. He's present by video. Sir, it looks like pretrial services is recommending that I hold you on a bond, and the state. Yep.
Oh, will I get a chance to be heard, Your Honor?
Absolutely.
And I didn't want to interrupt you, Your Honor, just later or at the moment.
We're almost there. Pretrial is recommending that I hold you on a bond. The state is actually asking for release to pretrial. Mr. Hannes, now it's your turn. What did you want to tell me?
Well, Your Honor, with respect to release conditions, it's usually whether he's a flight risk or whether he presents a danger to the community. Mr. Hernandez is from Tucson. His relatives are from Tucson. His girlfriend lives in Tucson. He owns real property in Tucson. He also owns another residence in the Show Low Pine Top area. His connections to Arizona and Tucson are very good. He's retained an attorney. He gives no indication of a flight risk. I would respectfully submit. With respect to danger in the community, I don't know the charge, other than what I've been told by the jail. And I think it's for a noise with a neighbor across the street. I could be wrong on that because I don't have the interim complaint. Obviously, if it's just a noise type of a complaint, that would be at the very, very, very lowest of felony levels as far as seriousness and danger to the community go. And that would be very consistent with the release on his own recognizance, although I did hear what Your Honor said earlier regarding pretrial services. I would like to mention one other thing. I did file a motion on this. This popped up in December of 2023, and I know Your Honor has a lot of cases here. I'll be as brief as I can. He was allegedly served with a restraining order, specifically an injunction. And he got charged with loud noises. He has a motorcycle and a car, if this is the same thing. And I had to write a letter to Mr. Mosher over at the county attorney's office, and I provided proof that, and I actually submitted it to the court today. I don't know if it's in the court's file.
Well, I did read your motion.
Yeah, and I have a terrible feeling that once again, somebody at the police department has gone ahead and accepted that he had been served with an injunction. But when you look at the paperwork, I went over to Justice Court again today, this afternoon. Even the process server wrote down there, it was an unknown individual. He put the address. The last time I investigated this and sent a letter to the prosecutor's office, I identified the person as Jeff, who was some unknown person in the front yard who definitely did not reside at the residence. The only two people who have ever lived there are Mr. Hernandez and his girlfriend. And so we got the charges dropped in December because it was an improper injunction. It wasn't properly served. And I have a funny feeling that a noise complaint popped up again. Somebody looked it up, saw the December 8th injunction, and then just has done the same thing again. And I feel terrible for Mr. Hernandez if that's what happened. However, I don't have any facts in the case, so maybe they did serve him on a different date. I don't know.
So, based on the information that I have, it is the same injunction. CV 23026978 is the one that you're referring to, Mr. Hannes, and it is the one that is listed in the probable cause statement. So I don't have any way of knowing if there was a second attempt at service on that, but I do know it's the same injunction. It's not a different one. The alleged facts, though, are that Mr. Hernandez was screaming, "I can hear your eyes," and a word I'm not going to say in court. Why don't you go to sleep, and more expletives, and then triggered a car alarm before driving away, and that all of this is on security video. So I am stuck in a position where it is very possible that the aggravated harassment charge as charged is not valid because the injunction was not served. On the other hand, Mr. Hernandez's conduct is criminal even without an injunction being served on him. It's certainly disorderly conduct at the very least, but that's not what's charged. And my sympathy is not as strong as yours knowing the facts. Given the history that you've given me, Mr. Hannes, and the state's position, I will release Mr. Hernandez to pretrial services. I do think that's appropriate. Mr. Hernandez, I want to be very clear with you that whether you were ever served with it or not, if you scream swear words at people, you are committing a crime. And so if this case gets dismissed because there was no service on the injunction, it may get refiled as a different charge. So I'm ordering that at least as long as this case is pending, that you do not have any contact whatsoever with the people who are listed as victims in this. And it is, to be clear,
They have to drive by my house. Like, I'm
so
going to show.
I'm telling you not to have contact with them. So driving by their house is not contact. That's okay. You're allowed to do that. But saying anything to them, yelling at them, writing them an email or a text message, knocking on their door, anything like that is contact. So you are totally allowed to drive by their house. But you need to make sure you're not having any contact, okay? And I don't have the names, so I'm just going to order no contact with the alleged victims. I think you know who I'm talking about. And I don't want you to go to their residence or workplace. Again, you can drive by, but you cannot be on their property, or if it's an apartment or something, you can't be knocking at their door or in their apartment or anything, okay? So I'm releasing you to pretrial services. I'm ordering that you do not have any alcohol or illegal drugs, no firearms or weapons, and submit to any monitoring or treatment that's directed by pretrial. We already talked about the contact. Your next court date on this is going to be on June 4th at 1:30 in the afternoon. Sir, that is a preliminary hearing, and that court date is very likely to change, especially if the county attorney's office is convinced that you were not served with that injunction. So make sure you stay in touch with Mr. Hannes and with pretrial services. That way you know when your court date is, if it changes, because if you miss court, you will get a warrant. I don't want you to say anything about the facts, but do you have any questions about your release conditions?
Am I allowed to leave the city and go to my property in Cholo?
You cannot leave the state, but you can leave the city. That's fine.
Okay.
Okay?
All
right. Thank you, Mr. Hannes. Good luck, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Talk to Mr. Hernandez.
Yep.
All right, sir, what is your full name?
Ori Lee Hogan.
All right, sir, you are here because you have a warrant out of Pima County Superior Court. The charges are aggravated assault as a domestic violence offense and assault as a domestic violence offense. I will enter a not guilty plea for you. You do have the right to remain silent and the right to an attorney. I am appointing the public defender's office to represent you. It looks like this was a direct indictment without a previous arrest. Give me one moment to finish reviewing everything that I have here. All right, defense counsel.
I'm going to say you follow pretrial's recommendation and release him to their supervision. This is his first felony arrest of any kind. He has no prior domestic violence arrest of any kind, no prior orders of protection. And I think pretrial noted the same thing that the court noted, that he's never been arrested before in this. Given that, we would ask you follow pretrial's recommendation and release him under their supervision.
All right. Given that this is a direct indictment and I don't have a probable cause statement, does the state want to give me any other additional information? It's your call.
Your Honor, one brief moment, I will give a little bit of extra information.
And Your Honor, while he's doing that, I did confirm, with Mr. Hogan that he does have a residence separate from the alleged victim. In this case, he would be able to follow the court's order to maintain no contact and to now return to a shared residence if released to pretrial.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Your Honor, these allegations do involve intimate partner strangulation, as noted on the state's recommendation, and so we would ask the court to consider the nature of the offense alleged, and the increased lethality associated with that in the conditions release.
All right, thank you.
All right.
All right, sir, I am going to follow the recommendation of pretrial services. I will release you to pretrial services under their supervision. I'm ordering that you do not have any alcohol or illegal drugs, do not commit any acts of domestic violence, do not possess any firearms or weapons, and make sure you submit to any monitoring or treatment that's directed by pretrial. You are not to have any contact whatsoever with the alleged victim, and you cannot go to that person's residence or workplace. I'm not sure if I already said I am appointing the public defender's office to represent you. Your next court date on this is an arraignment hearing on May 22nd at 1:30 in the afternoon. So that court date's not going to change. You need to be there for that hearing or a warrant would issue. Do you have any questions about your release conditions?
No?
No?
No, no.
All right.
All right, good luck, sir.
Thank you.
This hearing is clear court date just on the paper the court gives you, which you just be there, you're gonna get a warrant, you're not gonna get it. So make sure you go, you're not gonna be upset.
All
All right, sir, what's your full name?
Marlon Anthony Johnson.
All right, sir, you are here for two different things. First of all, you have a warrant out of Pima County Superior Court on charges of aggravated assault, criminal damage, and disorderly conduct. I will enter a not guilty plea for you. You have the right to remain silent and the right to an attorney. I'm appointing the public defender's office to represent you. Pretrial services is recommending that I hold you on a bond. The state is asking for a $15,000 bond. I did read the information that was provided, that you provided to pretrial services, sir, that you informed them you were in custody at the time of your last failure to appear. So I understand that you did tell them that. Defense counsel, anything you wanted to add?
Your Honor, just, we would ask you to give him an opportunity to pretrial. I think previously he was released to OR. I think that releasing him to pretrial supervision would be an increased level of supervision that could help him, ensure that he does attend future hearings.
So
Looks
looks
like
was
OR. All right, so I have to consider both the failure to appear risk, which if he was in custody is lower in my mind, but also the risk of new criminal activity and specifically new violent criminal activity. Based on, he's got no prior felonies. It appears that Superior Court released him on his own signature on April 9th. And he's telling me he was in custody when he missed his court date. Sir, I'm going to give you one chance on pretrial services release. Please don't make me regret that. If you really do need to come to your next court date, if for some reason you cannot get there, even if you're in custody, find a way to get a message to your attorney. Have a family member or friend, somebody get a hold of them if you can't, okay? So I am going to release you to pretrial services. I'm ordering that you do not have any alcohol or illegal drugs, no firearms or weapons, and submit to any monitoring or treatment that's directed by pretrial. I am ordering that you do not have any contact with the alleged victims and do not go to their residence or workplace. Your next court date on this is an arraignment hearing on May 22nd at 1:30 in the afternoon. That court date is not going to change. You must appear for that hearing or a warrant will issue.
Okay.
In addition to that, sir, you have a new charge of possession of drug paraphernalia.
Yeah, I told the officer.
Hold on. I don't want you to say anything because anything you say can be used against you, okay? On the paraphernalia charge, I'm going to release you on your own signature. That's a misdemeanor charge. I'm going to give you a court date of June 14th at 8:30 in the morning. Again, you have the right to remain silent and the right to an attorney, but not necessarily at court expense. And I am going to enter a not guilty plea for you. You need to appear on June 14th at 8:30 in the morning at Pima County Justice Court with Judge Wilson. If you're not there for that hearing, a warrant could issue. Your attorney only represents you on the felony, so make sure you go take care of the Justice Court case on your own, okay? Do you have any questions about your release conditions?
No, Your Honor.
Good luck.
Good luck, sir.
This is your next felony hearing, as soon as this meeting. It's over half the hours. The court will they'll get you at the same time.
Thank you.
Yeah, good luck. Speak for.
Hi, sir. What's your full name? All right, sir, you are here because you've been charged with leaving the scene of an accident that caused a serious physical injury. I am going to enter a not guilty plea for you. You have the right to remain silent and the right to an attorney. I am appointing the public defender's office. Pretrial Services is recommending that I release you under their enhanced supervision program. The state is asking for pretrial services release. Sir, I will release you to pretrial under their enhanced supervision program. I'm ordering that you do not have any alcohol or illegal drugs, no firearms or weapons, submit to any monitoring or treatment that's directed by pretrial, and do not drive unless you have a valid driver's license. I'm also ordering that you do not have any contact with any alleged victim and do not go to that person's residence or workplace. Your next court date on this is June 4th at 1:30 in the afternoon. Sir, that court date is very likely to change. Please stay in touch with your attorney and with pretrial so that you know when your next court date is. If you miss it, you will get a warrant. Do you have any questions about your release conditions?
I do. For my job, I use my car. Is my license suspended because of this?
So, sir, I don't actually know. What I'm ordering is that if your license gets suspended, don't drive. If you have a valid driver's license, you're allowed to drive. That's up to MVD.
Okay.
All right, good luck, sir.
Your attorney's never even call on Thursday or Friday. It just takes some time for someone specific to get appointed, like on Friday. Call pretrial first thing in the morning, but they can talk to them, your license still.
Okay, tomorrow, where are you?
Yeah, call them first thing in the morning, call them on Friday. Boss.
Sir, what's your full name?
Patrick Dillon Scott.
All right, sir, you're here because you've been charged with possession of a narcotic drug, possession of a dangerous drug, and possession of drug paraphernalia. I will enter a not guilty plea for you. You do have the right to remain silent and the right to an attorney. I'm appointing Bobby Berry to represent you, and you will get her name and phone number in your paperwork. I do not see probable cause for paraphernalia. The officer didn't tell me what the paraphernalia was, but I do see probable cause for both of the drug charges. Does counsel want to be heard? It's not going to change anything about my release decision.
Nothing from the state, Your Honor.
Okay.
Yes.
But I'm not on pre-trial.
All
All right, so sir, pretrial services is recommending that I hold you on a bond. The state is asking for a $5,000 bond. Let me finish reviewing the information that I have here. It is a smart core. All right, defense counsel.
Your Honor, he is pending sentencing in another case in Superior Court, but I understand from him that it is a probation available plea. I think that sentencing is in early June, right?
Yeah, June.
I think that is validated by the fact he's out of custody. According to pretrial, I think also the state's recommendation, he's eligible for a smart court on these new charges. I think that drug treatment would probably be very similar, if not identical, to the drug treatment that he would engage in with probation in his other case that is already pending sentencing. Given the nature of these charges, given that he has probation available in the current case that's pending, and the fact that pretrial was able to confirm housing and employment for him, we would ask you to give him an opportunity on pretrial release so he can engage in drug treatment starting next week.
You said starting next week. That was something that was already scheduled, or that's something he's saying he's going to do?
I think regardless, he's gonna get a steps hearing whether the court releases him or not next week. I think he's eligible. I think if he's in custody, he can't actually meaningfully engage in that treatment. I think it's likely he'd get released at that time anyway, hopefully. But that's.
All right. Sir, I'm going to release you to pretrial services. I'm doing that because your criminal history is all nonviolent. These are nonviolent, non-victim possession charges. And I do believe that you will get more treatment if you go to smart court out of custody than if you're sitting in the jail. I need you to understand though, sir, that if you commit any new offenses while you're on release, you can be held without bond if the state, in fact, if the state asks for that, the judge has to do it. So you need to be very careful. I'm going to release you to pretrial. I'm ordering that you do not have any alcohol or illegal drugs, no firearms or weapons, and submit to any monitoring or treatment that's directed by pretrial. I am setting 2 court dates. As the attorney just explained there, your first court date is a smart court hearing. That is a court where if you agree to do some outpatient treatment and you do that treatment, then you can get a better outcome than you would normally get. So that might mean a better plea agreement. It might potentially mean dismissal if you qualify for diversion, but I have no idea if you qualify for that, okay? Here's the really important part is you have to appear on May 22nd at 9 o'clock in the morning at Pima County Superior Court, and you have to appear for that smart court hearing, or you lose the opportunity to do the treatment in exchange for a better outcome on your case. If you miss that court date, they're going to indict it. They're going to charge it like any other felony charge. And so please go to that court date on May 22nd at 9. I'm also setting a preliminary hearing on June 4th at 1:30, but that court date is very likely to change. So go on May 22nd and then go back whenever the judge, your attorney, or pretrial tells you to go back. Keep in mind, you have 2 separate court dates on your 2 separate felonies. You've got to go to both, okay?
Yes.
Any questions about your release conditions?
No, Your Honor.
All
right, good luck, sir. Good morning, or good afternoon, sorry. What is your full name?
Shelley Denise Smith.
All
right, Ms. Smith, you are here because you've been charged with forgery, 4 counts of fraudulent use of a credit card, fraudulent schemes, theft, computer tampering, theft of a credit card by fraud, and receipt of something obtained by fraudulent use of a credit card. I'm going to enter a not guilty plea for you. You do have the right to remain silent and the right to an attorney. I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. Pretrial Services is recommending that I release you on your own signature. The state is asking for a $5,000 bond. Defense counsel, I understand that she's a low risk and they're recommending release. I am very concerned about the amount of money, the steps that were allegedly taken to cover those tracks, and the fact that she has a prior conviction, although it's very old, for a related offense.
Your Honor, I understand the state's court's concern. As the court noted, that prior offense from 1992. I think her only other felony arrest was possession of a controlled substance in 2014. I understand the nature of these charges. However, these all stem from conduct allegedly in June of 2020. So that's now a month shy of 4 years ago. Pretrial Services was able to speak with her boyfriend, who did confirm that she's employed and she does reside, and she does have housing available, and they confirmed that with him. I think that validates that she's not a flight risk, and that she will be engaged in this court process. I think also very simply the fact these charges are 4 years old. I think again that goes to her release, ROR, or under the supervision of pretrial services. Also the fact she has not had a felony arrest, I think, for now 10 years. Given that these charges stem from conduct allegedly 4 years ago, I would ask that you follow pretrial's recommendation and release her. Ms. Smith, just let me know that she is employed and she is working 50 hours per week right now.
I'm also concerned that her current job is a similar job to the one she had when these offenses are alleged to have happened. Ma'am, I'm going to release you to pretrial services, but I want to be very clear that if you don't comply with pretrial and come to court, there's a good chance the judge is going to hold you on a significant bond on this case, okay?
Yes.
So I'm releasing you to pretrial services, no alcohol or illegal drugs, no firearms or weapons, and submit to any monitoring or treatment that's directed by pretrial. I'm ordering that you don't have any contact with any alleged victims and do not go to their residence or workplace. Your next court date on this is a preliminary hearing on June 4th at 1:30 in the afternoon. That court date is very likely to change. Stay in touch with your attorney and with pretrial so that if it changes, you know when your court date is. If you miss it, you will get a warrant. Do you have any questions about your release conditions, ma'am?
No, Your Honor.
All right, good luck, ma'am.
Thank you.
Have a seat with the females out there. Michael. Yes, get up. You're up, buddy. Take your arms out.
Hi, sir, what's your full name?
Michael John Tift.
All right.
All right,
Here for a warrant, we'll read reading of the charges on the warrant itself.
All right. So, sir, you're here because you were arrested on a warrant out of Idaho. I am going to enter a not guilty plea for you. You do have the right to remain silent and the right to an attorney. I'm appointing the legal defender's office to represent you. Pretrial Services does not make any recommendation on out-of-state warrants. The warrant itself has a $55,000 bond on it. And the state is asking for $100,000 bond.
All
right, Defense Counsel.
Your Honor, it does appear this warrant issued on May 9th of this year, so I guess less than a week ago now, and he has not been previously arrested on it. It also appears his only prior felony arrest was in 2012 for an unrelated offense. Given that, I would ask you give him an opportunity on pretrial services release for the warrant. Alternatively, that you impose a significantly lower bond.
I am going to impose the bond that's on the warrant, which is $55,000 secured. Sir, if you post that bond, you're released to pretrial services. You're not to have any alcohol or illegal drugs, no firearms or weapons, and you must submit to any monitoring or treatment that's directed by pretrial. I'm ordering that you do not have any contact with any alleged victims and do not go to their residence, workplace, or school. Your next court date on this is May 20th at 2:30 in the afternoon. That court date is not likely to change. If you are out of custody, you must appear for that hearing or a warrant could issue.
Yeah.
All
right. In addition to that, sir, you have a warrant out of Pima County Justice Court for failure to appear on a criminal trespass charge. The judge in Justice Court has asked that you be held on a $2,499 bond. Sir, I am going to set a bond in that case, but given what else you're held on and the nature of the charges, I'm going to set a much lower bond. I'm going to set that bond in the amount of $500 secured. I'm ordering that you do not go back to the incident location on that case and follow all release conditions that were previously set in that case. So that means if you were told not to have contact with someone or not to go back to somewhere, that still applies. I am going to appoint an attorney to represent you. Give me one moment here. I'm going to appoint Jill Buchan to represent you, and her name and phone number will be in your paperwork. I am going to, if I didn't say it already, I'm entering a not guilty plea for you. You have the right to remain silent and the right to an attorney in that case. On that case, your next court date is tomorrow at 10 o'clock in the morning. If you're in custody, you'll be seen by video. If you are out of custody, you must appear for that hearing or a warrant could issue. In addition to that, sir, you have warrants out of Tucson City Court. It looks like you failed to appear on charges of shoplifting, failure to appear, shoplifting, criminal trespass, drug paraphernalia possession, failure to appear, possession of drug paraphernalia, shoplifting, resisting arrest, shoplifting, and failure to appear. On those cases, I'm going to release you on your own signature. You have the right to remain silent and the right to an attorney. I'm appointing the public defender's office to represent you, and I am entering a not guilty plea. I'm ordering that you do not go back to the incident location on those. And your next court date on those is June 11th at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. If you're in custody, your attorney will cover that hearing for you. If you're out of custody, sir, you must appear for that hearing or a warrant could issue. You could be tried and convicted in your absence, and if you couldn't be sentenced within 90 days because of your failure to appear, you could also lose your right to appeal. Sir, do you have any questions about your release conditions?
No, Your Honor.
All right, good luck, sir.
Thank you. Oh, Mark. Right.
Sir,
Sir, what's your full name?
Jeremiah Seth Upton.
All right.
All right. Sir, you are here because you've been charged with aggravated assault as a domestic violence offense. I will enter a not guilty plea for you. You have the right to remain silent and the right to an attorney. I am appointing the public defender's office to represent you. Pretrial Services is recommending that I hold you on a bond. The state is asking for a $50,000 bond. Give me one moment to finish reviewing the information that I have. All right, defense counsel, the pretrial, it looks like, might recommend release if they could verify an address away from the alleged victim. Do you want me to?
If I have just a second to confirm if that's worth trying. Your Honor, I think he probably would be able to do that by the morning, so we'll just ask to continue this.
All right, I'm going to continue your hearing to the morning session, sir, so that pretrial can try to confirm a residence away from the alleged victim. If they're able to confirm that, I can't make you any promises, but it would make you more likely to get released, okay? So you'll see a judge in the morning. Good luck, sir. Sir, what's your full name?
Joseph Rosario Zamora.
All right, sir, you're here on a couple different things. First of all, you're charged with unlawful flight, possession of dangerous drugs, and possession of drug paraphernalia. I will enter a not guilty plea for you. You have the right to remain silent and the right to an attorney. I'm appointing the public defender's office to represent you. I do not see probable cause for paraphernalia. I believe the officer forgot to tell me what the paraphernalia was, but I see probable cause for the other charges, and it's not going to change my release decision. State, do you want to be heard on that at all?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Excuse me, sir. Pretrial Services is recommending that I release you under their enhanced supervision program. The state is asking for a $5,000 bond. Give me one moment to finish reviewing the paperwork. All right. It looks. Oh, the misdemeanor. All right, you also have misdemeanor charges that involve a victim who's online, but we're going to deal with the felonies first. All right. I am going to follow the recommendation of pretrial, sir. I will release you to pretrial services under the enhanced supervision program. You're not to have any alcohol or illegal drugs, no firearms or weapons, and submit to any monitoring or treatment that's directed by pretrial. I'm also ordering that you do not drive unless you have a valid driver's license. So if your license gets suspended, you cannot drive. Your next court date on this is a preliminary hearing on June 4th at 1:30 in the afternoon. Sir, that court date is very likely to change, so please stay in touch with your attorney and with pretrial so that you know when your next court date is. If you miss it, you will get a warrant. All right, in city court, it looks like you have new charges of disorderly conduct as a domestic violence offense and criminal damage. These are from today. All right.
No.
Hold on. I'm not asking you if you did it or not. I'm just telling you what you're charged with, okay? So I have a citation that charges you with disorderly conduct as a domestic violence offense and criminal damage, that allegedly, hold on. All right, I take it back. The offense date on this is March 15th. All right, sir, then you also have charges of assault and disorderly conduct as a domestic violence offense. And those have an offense date of December 4th of 2023. And it looks like you are currently on probation in city court for a domestic violence offense. But there is no petition to revoke probation on that file yet. Sir, on all of these, I'm going to enter a not guilty plea. You do have the right to remain silent and the right to an attorney, although not necessarily at court expense. There is a victim on the line. Ma'am, did you want to be heard?
No, that's, I don't recall any of this last one on the 15th. I never called the police or anything, so I'm not sure what happened on that, what that one is all about. But it stated that I was the victim, but I don't recall that incident at all. The last one that we had was back in December. And those were, he was incarcerated for 7 days on those ones, and he was released, it was dismissed, actually. On this last one, I don't recall ever calling the police or even speaking to police about anything.
All right, so my guess, if you're telling me that he was held for 7 days and then it was dismissed, is that it was initially charged as a felony. They probably dismissed the felony and then refiled it as a misdemeanor, which happens fairly often.
Okay, yeah.
All right.
I have no idea.
Ma'am, what is your position on release and on contact?
Well, I'm fine with the release and contact. We've been fine. Our relationship has been great. So we've been, I don't have a problem with him getting released at all.
All right. Sir, on this case, I will release you on your own signature. I am ordering that you do not commit any acts of domestic violence, do not possess any alcohol or illegal drugs, do not possess any firearms or weapons. If you do possess any firearms, you have 48 hours from your release to surrender those to law enforcement. I am setting a court date in Tucson City Court on June 25th at 1:30 in the afternoon. That is with Judge Million. You must appear for that hearing. If you're not there, a warrant could issue. You could be tried and convicted in your absence. And if you couldn't be sentenced within 90 days because of your failure to appear, then, sir, you would also lose your right to appeal.
No.
All right. So make sure, I want to make sure you are aware, you have two separate court dates in two separate courts, and your attorney only represents you on the felony. Make sure you take care of both, or you'll end up back in custody on a warrant, okay?
June 4th and then June 9th?
June 25th.
Or June 24th?
So in city court, it's June 25th. The June 4th date, though, that might change, so stay in touch with your attorney in pretrial, okay?
Right. So call pretrial as soon as I get released?
So they'll give you instructions before you leave the jail about what you need to do to comply with pretrial.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you, sir.
All right.
Thank you all.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you, Your Honor. Have a good evening.